Ken made us in insanity bebre na the aba and weekend is so you witness a lot of games so Europe and Ghana has seen. Now my mention is free Emirates. Arsenal HF 4-1 against AS. Ken, to be honest, going into the game, not science in a clear say Arsenal the favorite so we win this game. Now between Arsenal and Spurs, or more form, or more recent meetings, now be no a playing advantage for Arsenal team. By game now you witness say Arsenal in say or mobile against personal. Metima Catro say this season ye ka Arsenal performance ba kwa aso anipa enura na eka ho bi. The performance are Arsenal for the ma display no mu display no enura na excellent. So we check here before the game. Na Spurs need the only club in the Premier League na onkolusu match away. Na clubs ni nyina no obi akwa away at least wakwa kolusu a game. By na Spurs the oba ofia na edne so obetima hye no. So Arsenal Spurs ama ne 4-1 eche how adwuma Arsenal ye. Kwan yo mo fa so create your chances. The number of attacks or they call Spurs so goals ahodo o mo say the level of creativity. Eka hu bi na Spurs for intimi containing Arsenal for attack. 17 attempts to score, 8 on target, 4 goals out of it. And in terms of attack, na Arsenal attack na no ehye. So we take game no so a. See my friends say Arsenal sa limited Spurs for o meant me any opportunities and for and twatne. Ken say me catch us the entire 90 minutes. Spurs touch a ball ne 4 pe Arsenal penalty box me be one. Spurs the entire 90 minutes o me touch a ball ne ba ko nko 4 pe. And the Arsenal defense ni make sure say o me prevent Spurs for say o mo create chances no. So both attack and defense na Arsenal superior over Spurs Boboko na. Omu deserve sa 4-1 victory no. And even in poker na nkombeti ma share more goals by Saoche Spurs actually 4-1 na. And show the level of performance Arsenal dey buy. So the big question will be able to say, and then na Tottenham Arsenal nya ne writer enu omu dominate as Spurs for no every aspect of the game, every department. Then na Tottenham Arsenal yeah omu dominate ye. And can me share game no. Adia me hu say Arsenal ye na Spurs won't mean copy with sa Arsenal de no. The 4 height 5 channels. Enra papa friends are Teta. Use 4 heights 5 channel. Not Spurs ain't mean copy with sa approach as Spurs Arsenal for use ye. Sameka 4 heights 5 channel. A tactical strategy a team be use for omu positioning and a spatial occupation. And it's our 4 height 5 channels no. How na Arsenal be first for position omo. And the crown be first so our control spaces no. Any idea Spurs for NTB control. So anytime we are Arsenal for better as you some attack biano. Omunya 5 vertical runners. Sa 5 vertical runners no. Trossard operate as a outside left player. Then Calafiori na obo as a left back no. Move inside ebeka the attacking third no. Merino na operate as a first number 9 be make sure say time biano ono na obe operate no be na the central area. Na Bukayo Saka with the inside, Timber with the outside. E to the impokra na on my belly is impokra no ebeli di attack no. So anytime we are Arsenal be attack biano or more 5 players are omunyina no yes our vertical rounds no. And na Spurs won't mean copy. Spurs won't mean make sure some beso sa players ni mu. And Arsenal won't mean position omu ye enya sa readiness na omu to be the BT Spurs Boboko no. And to omu attack biana on ba benya 3 at the back, 2 in the midfield and 5 players over the final 10. Edit team my friend say Spurs. So anytime we are Arsenal be attack biano, na omunya players are minimum of 5 players, na omunya numbers, na somebody best strategy Spurs Boboko no. Then again say omu attack biana, lines are hold on the attack no ba ko 4. And so 4 lines no the attack no, omunya depth, omunya control spaces, and omutimi provide options in terms of attack. And near their team my friend say Arsenal. The BT Spurs for no Spurs for into me and copy with a dear Teta Arsenal for ye. The 4 heights, 5 channels, and the BT Spurs Boboko no. Arsenal for taking control, attacking a lot. And no check here branch your friend is Marino. Omu attack biana as the number 9. And as a first number 9 was expect to say. On the bed name ho LED attack no. Ten be our drop it. A draggy player out of position and creating spaces. No typical example. Check it out pass now. Or the command Trossard say you know. And Kobe over number 9 and you never drop it ababably pass Ediam will be so unquestioned. by Merino na obo as a number 9 player obe drop ya banechi sa pass or the back of branch friend say eye Trossard and so what take goals na ibereche eze ye ni nyina na eye Merino na free ni position no drag opponent na creating spaces and then na ibereche eze he was on fire 3 goals against Spurs enye easy ade amani je no ho say oje ball na ni movement with the ball na ehu ni positioning na ehu how was he making sure so about driving the power ebedi ball nechi no obetimi dey share 3 goals against Spurs and kinu no say sa ni 3 goals o share ni nyina no na zone na ewom no either the zone 14 and answer the cutback area so we check the average distance na audition the goals na ye 14 yards enti enra game na nkasa no na ebereche is the 3 goals o share no enye nwanwa o share first goal o share second goal na science na che say obetima hit the third goal and then Arsenal for a show class winning 4-1 against Team Francis personal omu deserve every credit was me ball mabaso Burnley e wo turf mo Chelsea kwose ni 2-0 a Burnley entimi ante na e game ba kwa obi a wakọ turf mo obi ano se Burnley usumpo kra na ombe try so meba no mema ye dene e de ama entienra the first na no Saturday the first 20 minutes na mu aye den kakra de ama Chelsea obi o share Chelsea first 20 minutes na Chelsea extra go kakra because not Saturday, Chelsea air building up. There was no Caicedo. And to the deep central midfielder was Andre Santos. The first 20 minutes are not Chelsea struggle. No Chelsea air building up. Now your brand friend say Andre Santos and a time piano operating as the single deep central midfielder. So no operating as a single deep central midfielder. Now brand friend team friend say Burnley. Make sure say omema markeno. Se Kukurea yakonenim. Enzo Fernandez ekonenim. Na Pedro Neto mu ho omo ye static. Less movement at Chelsea anymore. So the first 20 minutes, na sunima kwa ye ding e de ama Chelsea bobuko no. So after 20 minutes, obi o hwe bi a game this has a sign because of a tactical adjustment Enzo Maresca ye. Or try say this time around, Obama Kukure ya drop kakra ba beka Andre Santos. Not this time around, enkoye Andre Santos as a single deep midfielder. Boba benya Kukure ya kan ho. No mababa be double into mbetimenya options to progress the ball. Then Pedro Neto na the first 20 minutes why static, you know. After the one shot say movie around. Now creates our opportunities in from Chelsea. So after 20 minutes, Sir Enzo Maresca tactical adjustment necessary nyoma bebre. And the Chelsea after the one shot say so move pushy Burnley or move create more chances, no more try so bit many the didn't goals about Chelsea. By game now me waiting say you know. The man now or ye juma emo bia bona so abasono was Andre Santos. Can enye easy say Caicedo role no betima bo ni yie. A one sensitive position for Chelsea. The moment that Chelsea be see akan, na play your obegina defensive line enim no obey out of the game na the pressure be to Chelsea team so. By Andre Santos or boss abo no, o hwe game na obege say Caicedo mpokura na e wo game ni ma o yes adwuma. Because I do the man Chelsea defensively was top notch. Andre Santos in the game and making sure say obe provide proper shield at the Chelsea backline. Less pressure on Chelsea defense because not Chelsea defenders no ebe hin obi obe shield omo. And this same Andre Santos they making sure say Chelsea pressing face no obey involved. And anytime be a Chelsea be press bia no or attaches our press no and making sure say Chelsea press no ebe well coordinated and sa pressing face na or excellent abua obra Chelsea. And no stop a lot of dangerous attack and about Chelsea so. Se Burnley for any dangerous attack as bia na no etimi akọ intercepted. That was the reason why a ball game in area no. Player or your recoveries kesiye, player or your interceptions kesiye no was Andre Santos. And I'm making sure say that pocket of spaces in between the midfield and a defensive line no or be closes our pocket of spaces in na. And tanya mo wan say Andre Santos and making sure say your ball game in area no be man of the match because the performance no on my 5-star performance and I'm extremely happy for this boy and will showcase he say even time Mpokra coach Nebeka se Caicedo engine na home no Andre Santos no ho betima ye adwuma. Barcelona share 4 against Bilbao. Good weekend for Barcelona fans. Oh back Camp Nou. Spotify Camp Nou. Ube here win na the Tacti stadium na no. Barca peso Chelsea Real Madrid. Ube here win na the Chelsea Real Madrid. And Barcelona winning 4-0 against Bilbao and a fluke. And based on the performance of Barcelona. No more than one so any and more winning sa game no. Ken sa ubeka ya na no Saturday analyze the game no make catch say Barcelona ebe lusu key players ni bi. Ana players ni bi wo ho a afi no mu free injury ba enti omo fitness eni suru bebre. Enti ade a ebe bo Barcelona pa no individualism. The individual performance and the best bibia de ama Barcelona. 1. Shomu goalkeeper Juan Garcia performance. What's the future? By 2 big chances are Bilbao for Nya in or save Nina. Or making sure that Barcelona and concede. Can I come him? And it's one difference. But one said De La Fuente, no, so see a loyalist for Nibio. Or a loyalist. I own no credit party. Oh, San Cowden no credit, I can't even Juan Garcia and Pocre so also. Yeah, Barcelona for boy. Also. But one said coaching De La Fuente or a loyalist. So, Ocha Juan Garcia performance excellent. Pau Kubasi performance. Na was on top. And na kunde will give him, Bowd will give him. Bono no Yakran on the acting as a leader. Okay. Eric Garcia excellent performance. Lami Yama 2 assists no one saying. Speaking of which now, world champions and media say say Omobi no kasa na me boa. Be 2 years in the you cut 2 teams on Makasa pa. Barcelona and Chelsea. Na na say Chelsea kwaje your friend say. FIFA Club World Cup. One take teams and almost more problem. Barca count. Barca. So what is an until say the almost George and I'll be oh, but say will be a baby in the by second Lami Yama who here big games. Match your 32 inches in there. Awesome pain. No, I yes, some it's not 32 for a year ago. They'll be crying in the phone every show, and this way. Came it out, send you go and shower. Now, your monko mocha cram. I mean, 12 free bassa. Any let's go be bow game, you know. Now, homecoming the year. You just don't need to win the game. You need to play well and win the game. Now, media, I'm here to see a video of that. I see a video of because me know as I'm not doubt up to now because I'm here to see a video of that. Well, exactly. Now so my banana says answer some no own chapter. And I bet you know say na pressure you corner be obi so na bi betinya me so obi na sheda yes ah. Oh there be na say Lamine Nkasa onim Chelsea at the bank. I say inti me that story I so kakra. But you see the Bilbao game kid. And I know Saturday ni analyze the game. One thing I told you about the Bilbao game, they say almost strength almost pressing. Na Barcelona be win game no na gina niam mienu so mutwa niam mienu na o ma win back ho. Essence of Bilbao for the press well into was Barcelona find ways of beating their press. One. Dear Tosubio, Adia Bakwa Barcelona Nimia recently born on Wintimi nye how Barcelona presses. Into a name you know, first of all, beat the press of Atletico Bilbao. Second, press well as a Barcelona team. Now, you start the game, me want dear be me want papa. First of all, one will line up the buy can't Bilbao. Barcelona started Gerard Martin as a centre back. Ya tete se coach ne pese obo boy no as a center back. Na coach no say on Gerard Martin aye training sa behind the scenes obi anim o training boy no how to play as a center back because hwe ball na ye ball na down me catch us e nima mienu on and off the ball. Mukuta ball a mo be ye den. Munkuta ball a mo be ye den. Na empempi no ye hwe ball ye ni wo so be kuta ball no kwa ba we coach we football performance analyst you watch on and off the ball inti Inigo Martinez adia ba ko abasa miss from him ni say na left foot no won say so boss center back coaches na so mo pa prepare bebrebe no up left foot third player as the left center back inti or try ama Gerard Martin abosa role no because so kuta bola Gerard Martin as a center backer passing angles about Barcelona so that they can beat out the press. Yes, that's a game that means Bobby McD Juan Garcia ho can't yanko now Osha screens so let's go Bilbao for at the 6th place and they press Barcelona and I was like wow this is what I was expecting in the game because almost press pa and I was like Barca beats him BT press na what are 6th place now and again Senwa a Roger section yan can command in fact game Saturday no
because one Garcia only ball kutao okuta ball no atwenya ma Barcelona Eric Garcia epie baie, so he moved the ball to Eric Garcia, and Eric Garcia the ball on ma Pau Kubasi with just 2 passes. Now Barcelona beating for presser Pau Kubasi carry ball. But me was second example of adia bakwa no me yebe. Yanko Barcelona goal Ken Pacho Shadi me pa. 3 minutes 50 seconds in the game. And a Bilbao for no play ball no out. Me Pacho watch the screens very well. Gerard Martin and I sense the danger. My catch say adia bakwa me say from Barcelona game yomo pressing, counter pressing. Gerard Martin I sense danger and all barber press it. Seconds 3 year pa. Way 3 minutes 50 seconds. In a matter of just 2 seconds, Kent. The next one. Shadia, within 2 seconds, Barcelona players miensa and a air presser Bilbao for no. One is doing pressing, the normal pressing. The other is doing counter pressing. Players miensa, Eric Garcia, Gerard Martin, Alejandro Baldi. Way and a Barcelona presser ya. And ma Bilbao for no lusu ball now. Lewandowski koshe sa goal. And then this is a catcher say. Niema mienu ne was Barcelona ye. How to beat Bilbao's press? Of course they did that. I've shown you examples of how they did that. 2. Kwaya Barcelona for befa so a press well aje ball. Edi of your opponent in some half. Of course I've given you example of that. Now Unai Simon idi men can answer you because makama break. Coach no oyenhwehwe ni mu de la Fuente. Unai Simon onya de nansen. Unai Simon 3 years ago they are fine, but nansen Unai Simon onya de nchen one Garcia mpo. But anyway, it is what it is. Yan twaso na yan monko mokakra. Real Madrid de no ken. Hwe minim Pefe say Xabi Alonso understands Real Madrid well because ono what big clubs about Liverpool, about Bayern Munich, about Real Madrid, he understands how big clubs react to results. And young central for and yami amiti hey and I may change who say big clubs are there about results. Nempono coach na obeji adwuma free ni sem no. Carlo Ancelotti the second coming no or 2 Champions League. Last season now go year Arsenal for shed woto no. Look at the circumstances that Madrid for fame, injuries upon injuries, but you know, Madrid supporters as soldier de good so say on free club the monko. At Real Madrid, you just don't win games, you have to appease the supporters. Tio, me no can say Madrid the leading league table no. In case means you Champions League we lose bako, we winning miensa. Assembliance for a new coach. But the conversation is not about Man City. It is not about Arsenal. It is about Real Madrid. Coach needs to understand say games and adults were second by now. Who traces of what the coach wants to do. Ken, me far line up no. Me want Frank Garcia, me want Alvaro Carreras, me cast of about 5 back. After a game no Koswa, Frank Garcia is operating more as a left winger. That's how. If Frank Garcia's role was going to be as a left winger, they ain't Porte and not drop with Vinicius Jr. In any case, also only Vinicius Jr. I can want some actually the entire or drop with Vinicius Jr. For what reason?
And CCI, almost Vinny, almost the first other CCI said Vinny and Fiorentino press I am meeting.
Yes,
no, I don't catch up and say, ultimately renewing the contract. Say Xabi Alonso any contract.
Oh,
and the way insights of from CCI. And Vinny never catch up Fiorentino press. So now, I have Fiorentino press decision. Vinny or Xabi Alonso. Why you choose?
Yes, anyway.
We are mad in here. Yes, renew Alonso and the coach. I catch up Fiorentino.
So anyway. Hey, Asapana be you. Okay.
Jabi Alonso be more result there 5. So I think say it will be based on the result Jabi Alonso are going to give them. But Kena, honestly, here me Vini in some no Vini nankasa won the problems. But say the last time I make cultural say Kylian Mbappe the last 3 games born na Kylian Mbappe abon. Say Vini and the board the same ball and 3 games thing obey in free. As me are making, we a Madrid fan, we a footballing fan. Wouldn't you walk face say, born and Mbappe about the last 3 games, you know. Say a Vini and I was a born coaching by in from 60th minute obey in from Musa. But Kylian Mbappe only name free because or say or the star man. You cannot substitute a star man. But you can substitute in Vinicius Junior. I want to say who say the coach values Mbappe than you. Unkomo na odi abana na me fa de free ho. Because say e Vini 2 seasons ago Oshia ye nyini free e kire say odu sa star man era no. But this time around oni sa de no. Eno ti na Mbappe obehwe wo game no mu sa he will still play.
So on your fan fan. But as to say, at least for the report to see here.
Okay.
Almost a meeting or catch a president and say, and you Jabi Alonso and can you issue Kobe renew. But with Jabi Alonso.
Asam na no coaching in Yadano.
Eddie. And say Eddie.
I'm saying it in
Titia. Papa so to make catch Jabi Alonso say uncle.
Say it be depending on results. No, but it dependent on the result. If Jabi Alonso necessary no, but you see, if you don't give him the consistency, till Vini Oshie, but Vini amini unim no, send a ball ne bar.
Alonso so coach in the bar. Liverpool
team. Say Vini baby I will no. He needs more games to gain his confidence back. He's not getting at this stage. And also so lose hope for coaching him into a bad day. And I'm say a dependent on what Jabi Alonso brings on the table at the end of the season, because you season, you know, not born to say ya na Barca, Agi trophy. Of course, Madrid will press something. They will choose Vini ahead of him. Nebom, say Jabi Alonso born so ba. Now Jabi starts winning without Vinicius Junior. Madrid will let him go because after all, Madrid, Florentino Perez, he lets go Cristiano Ronaldo. Why can't he let go Vinicius Junior? In Tomo me no, dependent on what will happen at the end of the season. But me and man say coach and I say I want a selection or yeah. And maybe me will say Trent Alexander-Arnold. Game no yeah be pona ne moya de no. He was putting in a lot of crosses. Trent and defensively wanya de but one strength that you cannot take from strength and no crosses no. He was just doing a lot of crosses. And or crossing, in fact, when he said no, 18 crosses, 7 pair, and they could see the player. So, let me be say, crosses now, oh, you know, Vinicius Junior born the first row, on for the team, Pimu, Kylian Mbappe, on for the team, Pimu. Ain't it the crosses now? At what end? Just say, be a 4 form, na tapping, be a bar, but your first row, just say, be a Jude Bellingham, never contested for the ball. Apart from that, na a quack issue. Here, Chelsea. Any Burnley aye ni momo big game be on 5 at the back, and I normally Arsenal on ball 5 I want Steve no a ball Twanzembe no a ball Laurent 3 center backs ni omni Man City 5 at the back. I me one papa say me ko against Chelsea omo call 4 at the back, and nothing the coach didn't say he needed to make adjustment because when Susu say Burnley for the back of 4 at the back. Now the reason why 4 at the back ni nyina say team a pass ball bebre no the emphasis build up to say Mariska the ideology build up on Fenia Grono. Chelsea Asia 5 at the back biana oma 3 plus and a starting press. Now one now when him and now in this case over Rich James Positional therapy ayo Trevor Chalobah Kent Benyawa na Andrew Santos now winning. That is when they are meeting teams above 5 at the back, because no, so that team need the 2 players never press Chelsea. About 4v2, Chelsea can easily carry it out. But Chelsea were finding it difficult because almost striker and Zian Fleming, time will be he was doing cover shadow on Andrew Santos. So Chelsea needed to let Marco Kurela join in midfield. Now Ababeka boy no Andrew Santos ho and no never changes back because of time into the there but Mourinho there Ken Mourinho there
the Ken Mourinho there
mudi munyi pass na fanto cho mon kohwe third goal no a fourth goal no Vicario e bobo bi simu and henkapi pin ball na ma Declan Rice eyi ball na betu nenim proper hold that play wow
quality as a top player big
Ken
the Ken Mourinho you know for World Cup play na ko tranche obi asu nim se boy o ya dey Chelsea players your move me na bibiri ana na so World Cup ko na do qualify one question 3 goals for Turkey
yeah born the obopa
as the ball na je fe was Boko Spain and the football fans there pen no why fe the ball na je fe but for you most important as as the team crowd killer about 9 about 8 about position about say
ono de anim honum de titi obo ba bia honestly speaking I feel say at this rate Mikel Merino is one player underrated looking at the qualities honestly speaking
numbers of the ground
yes and not just the numbers born or born because na so we go no born or pass Leandro Trossard na or drop it deep no be far ball even those are almost strikers and then both Haaland no Harry Kane no when they are playing the number 9 position no drop it deep no be baller only so no na number 9 or no necessary we should go so what they do is that they don't look for players that box them already and also muko rub box them no pass the ball among they go for the easy options the original in China no a pass the ball in the amano no a start America to initiate attack na onim say no necessary or box them koko go into initiate attack na we know the America box them no akwa train ball no na ba no be basha na so be pemasha no dey to net anymore but Merino drop it deep no he also remembered say he's a midfielder one forgetting the duty as a midfielder even though Niamani makes shift through our number 9 and how he was able to scan the pitch and making sure say oh Trossard dey off but Obebo pass at the right time I'm a player na kwa fa ball no it was super good and me feel say underrated at this moment Ken Tottenham Boboko no Thomas Frank had disappointing the baby to be honest yes starting season no open one of the teams and then the power GDA wo mupa looking at performance and no more down there ultimate more teams now we Tottenham on film looking at how they started Omokwa Super Cup UEFA Super Cup against Paris Saint-Germain no be any say the Paris Saint-Germain team we've seen last season there Tottenham any game be am no regulation time Paris Saint-Germain and Tottenham Boboko no they had to move the game to penalties after that the first game of the season no akobo Burnley no ache Burnley 3-0 but people said say oh Burnley dey send get team bia edu Burnley any news many obi aya adwen wo ye wie no ko Etihad on Manchester City Boboko no this season that game has been Pep Guardiola's worst game wabo and finally the performance of Dynasty against Newcastle but the game against Tottenham how Tottenham dominated Manchester City especially on one fee or we no actually 2-0 but Ken after that Manchester City test teams you know more difficult for Premier League no obi any one Tottenham team ya no the difficult teams say your middle table team say your top team obi any one ma Tottenham share na what team ya no Tottenham share Bournemouth one team ya share Brighton one team ya share one team ya share Chelsea one team ya share Manchester United Arsenal bobo ko no to aba be kan one team ya share Aston Villa. The funny part is the approach of the Tottenham team yesterday was wrong. Mejitum say football na about strength and weaknesses. It will show opponents and strength. Of you say looking at how Arsenal see possessive game. O jai game ni ma Arsenal bobo ko ni bo. No call for counter breaks and after counter attacks. Ebe buano. It is so a lot of men at the back no defending. Any problem. But the big question is that formation now they kwa share Arsenal. It is a big game. How many times now what testers are formation in Premier League games? Ama wo mu GDA say betimi a work the amount. The only time I'm going to talk about the 3-back system or the 5-back system where they are defending this season. A game normally Paris Saint-Germain Super Cup no. But the league and the Champions League are almost bono. Me who Tottenham are all about the 3-back system that. Debbie. But I know the starting game no. In fact, so be amaso because in the first half, Omo Intimi manage even a shot on target. You read first half now, you second half no. The coach was wise enough and realized this information in one into obedience. ɛwɔ formation nim ken nsesanya na ɔyɛ no ɔsesa ne nsa na hwan na ɔde ne ba game emu ayɛ den no he brought in Xavi Simons with no disrespect to the player but the game mu yɛ den a who expect say odi ɔmo yɛ conversant with the league ɔmo nim terrain no betimi ayɛ game changes ɛna de ba so wɔ Brennan Johnson at the bench last season to me pen numbers or share he was Tottenham's best player you have this season mo little opportunity bia wo nya bia na ɔkyerɛ sɛ ball no orimbo why don't you throw him in the game na o kwa kofa obi a ɔno ne ba ye no ontimi mo ye emfamfam ma no ɛna game a wo da from by 2 odi ɔno ne ba be the difference maker Debbie the only bright spot I mean who was Tottenham team nim no was João Paulinho to be honest he was the man I know he breaks kaka when finishing one of the bomb but aside that there was nothing positive about their performance Arsenal no deserved the 3 maximum points but now Arsenal ibo say see ane there ken the Premier League is just for them to lose Arsenal and team and the Premier League we are kwan bi a just somebody ateta for so bi omon fa na mfa so Liverpool asemne de saa ya asemu say see Liverpool about 7 matches in the Premier League we're winning 1 we're losing 6 the last 7 matches in Premier League anymore. Liverpool are winning just 1 and losing Marco 6. This is a Liverpool team I share season national. Looking at purchases some year, this is some year. Who be so be as why they bet me at Premier League in BMA or say Liverpool because now Liverpool were quality no assign to quality and ya ba be kabo boko no. But unfortunately, and your man cause the any expected and Liverpool boko no. First of all, me the blame no kese na the coach e say Ancelotti. Ken the game Liverpool played on Saturday. Selection na coach in the year and go Rap Park and so on. It was wrong. Yahu Dominic Soboslaya on so many occasions over the right back position the Liverpool. Bobo niye. But so do only call the right back position. I said it here. So we weaken the Liverpool midfield. It's the Ogwa share midfield omoya strong, omoya combative. Ibrahim Sangare any Elliot Moa. Yen create to chrome fan to yen finting because a man can no mujin fin for Nottingham Forest no. Omoya dead your how. It's a coach any a damn mistake in the first place. Secondly, Liverpool defenders any players no didn't know how to defend set pieces. Quite fast one continue the first goal from a corner kick. Mohamed Salah player Gina Onche Murillo. Na Salah air free another player McAllister. So Ombramba Taki Murillo. When you can clearly see, so McAllister is marking another player. Fine, you what you no. But can once I be play box, ni over. So once you are there, you have to help defend the lines. And a Murillo here free, and no boss are born share. Number 2, coach in the selection now di can ye na make 1-7. The second goal they conceded. Because an acquired Gravenberch in Kwawum Infinity, he tried as possible to chase almost every ball. 82nd goal no. Now Odi Gibbs White aqua the left flank, aqua attacking no. Cut back in the bar, you know, the defensive midfield area. Now Honumi she and a ball on the foul on the Liverpool Bobo. It's the placement of players on the field of play, and then the selection. A cost Liverpool Bobo and a coach into me. And then I all pressing the panic button. I didn't see that Chinchina or starting Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak born now boy, you know, a Newcastle. But at Liverpool, a ketike mum ne Isak, and I said mummy ketike. Copim to be proven a honor. And this all bench will go ketike under no circumstance. You keep throwing your best players per price out the fire on the field just because of you some boy in just so mobile. But the more minutes no, the more now we expose the players no. Okay. All my players they merited the position. Mane so ordini dini ni sika no the ababa bebo there be. Maninya jumaden no merited position na no obegina mu a obetimi abodi ama. Eno Isaac Ekitike